Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. On today's DIY Wednesday video, we are going to recreate some very high-end Halloween decor that I found at the Pottery Barn. As much as I hate to say it, I think we're gonna put Pottery Barn out of business because seriously, the prices that they want for these 3 Halloween decor items is redonkulous. Let's go over what we're making. I'll show you the supplies, and it's nothing. Lots of the items, let me see. Dollar Tree, Joann's, Dollar Tree, I don't know where, Walmart. We did not spend a ton of money. You're gonna die. And 2 of them are probably the easiest things on the planet to make. So, I was perusing the Pottery Barn website last week and I screenshotted everything that I wanted to make, and then I went out and bought the supplies. Today, when I went on to Pottery Barn, one of the items is no longer available, and I have my theory as to why. I don't believe it's because it is sold out. I just believe that Pottery Barn took another look at it and was like, this is way too fucking expensive for what it is, so let's just not offer it. That's my theory, and when I show you what it is, you guys will probably agree with me. So let's get into it. The first item that we are going to recreate from the Pottery Barn is on sale right now, but even the sale price is ridiculous. The pre-lit black glitter branch wreath and garland with bats. Originally $59. It's our twig branch wreath. That last Halloween, we recreated a wreath that we found at the At Home. Remember, with the snakes? And that wreath was $25, and I thought, that's way too expensive. Pottery Barn is asking $40 for the same wreath that literally looks like it has fucking paper bats just hanging from it. $40. So guess what? We're gonna take our snake wreath from last Halloween and we're gonna redo it into this bat wreath for this Halloween. So we're recycling a wreath and we're cutting bats out. I got craft foam to do it because I just thought it would be more stable. You could use felt. I don't think you would want to use construction paper, but you could technically use black construction paper because on closer inspection, that's what this literally looks like to me. Paper bats on a black twig wreath, originally $59. Sorry about it, Pottery Barn. No. The next item we are going to recreate for Halloween, I'm kind of excited about. It is going to take us a little bit longer to do. However, I think the payoff is going to be amazing. Now, Pottery Barn has a bunch of different versions of these. They call them skeleton drinkware. $24.50 to $99.50. $24.50 for one glass. One. They're cute, but ain't nobody paying $24.50 for a glass that you are going to use once a year. If that. I mean, these glasses are perfect for a Halloween party, a Halloween get-together. You bust these glasses out. They're fucking darling, don't get me wrong. But are they worth $24.50? No, they are not. We're gonna recreate them for pennies. Pennies, I tell you, pennies. And last but not least, we are going to recreate, which is no longer available on the Pottery Barn website, but we're gonna make it because I saw it and I about fucking fainted when I saw the price. The Pottery Barn floating candles. And it looks like maybe last year Pottery Barn came out with another version of the floating candles. They called them Harry Potter floating candles. This particular version, thankfully I took a screenshot of it. A set of 12 fake tapered candles tied with fishing line for $129. Yep, let that sink in for a second. We're gonna make it for a fraction, and it's gonna take like 2 seconds. It's 2 things: candles, fishing line, done. Are you ready to get into it? Because I'm ready to get into it. I have all of our supplies laid out before us. Our wreath from last year, we're gonna just remove these snakes, and I got this craft foam. I'm gonna say it was probably like 99 cents. Walmart's weird, could have been 97 cents. But black craft foam, and our twig wreath from last year. Now, if you don't have a twig wreath, you can make one out of twigs from your yard, or I happened to get this one at the Michaels on clearance. It was actually a spring wreath. It had a bunch of spring flowers on top that I took off. Now, when you purchase this, it's not gonna be black. Took it in the garage, bought a can of black spray paint, and I spray painted it. So, make one out of twigs from your yard, which I think will be kind of a pain in the ass and you'll need a lot of twigs. Recycle a twig wreath that you already have, or try to find one at the Michaels or the Joann's using a coupon so that you can save money and then spray paint it black. Craft foam, cardstock, foam core, cardboard box. You just need something to make some bats out of, and some fishing line. This I know came from the Walmart and it was literally like $1.97. And don't worry, we're gonna use this same fishing line for our candles. So $1.97 is gonna get us through 2 projects. All of this is all you need to recreate, we'll call it $40 to $60 Pottery Barn bat wreath. Oh, one thing, their wreath is pre-lit. At the Dollar Tree, there are those little lights on a string. They're battery operated. They're $1. We need those if you do want your wreath to be pre-lit. If you don't go get those. For project number 2, we need candles. These are the fake candles that have the little flicker effect. I have these, they were purchased a long time ago when I had my event planning company. We used to use these all the time because certain venues wouldn't allow open flames. So I have a shit ton of these. We got them from the Amazon. I know you can probably get a pack of 12 for super cheap, way cheaper than $129. So I will find them again on the Amazon and link them below. So you're gonna need 12 flameless taper style candles. What I do like about the shorty guys, the on-off mechanism is from the top here. What I don't like about the other 2 styles of tapers that I have, the on-off mechanism is at the bottom. Since it's not setting in something and they're gonna be floating, you can kind of tell they're fake. However, it'll be dark and I don't care. Are you really gonna be able to tell that bad? No, seriously. And they're wax. Like I said, I'll find them on Amazon again and link them below. But you're gonna need 12 candles or more. It's literally candles and fishing line. And that's it. $129 Pottery Barn wanted for this. Can you see why we're putting them out of business? And surprisingly enough, I've had these for a million years and they haven't run out of juice yet. Anyways, back to our last and final item that we are recreating. Skeleton hand glasses. I went to the Dollar Tree and I bought a set of 4. Well, they didn't come in a set. I bought 4 individual glasses this shape. If you were to go onto the Pottery Barn website, they're $24.50 a piece. So a set of 4 is gonna cost you $100. So far, $4. The other thing you're gonna need, I purchased this air dry clay at the Joann's, 2.2 pounds. It's a brick of clay, $7.99, and that was regular price, not with a coupon, not with nothing. What's that? 12 bucks, and we are going to have a set of 4 glasses that the Pottery Barn thinks we should be paying $100 for. I also purchased something very inexpensive to paint our skeleton hands once they're done drying, and it's nail polish. Silver nail polish and black nail polish. We're also gonna need some Mod Podge, which you can get at the Dollar Tree for $1. So 15 total dollars for a set of 4 amazing glasses. So let's get to crafting. First up, let's recreate the very expensive Pottery Barn wreath. And it looks like there are 12 bats. So we're gonna need to cut 12 bats out of our foam core, cardstock, whatever you have in, it looks like 3 various sizes. I did the old school method of taking some paper, folding it in half, just like you would cut out a snowflake in elementary school. Draw half of your bat so that when you cut it, you have 2 equal sides of bat. So I have a big bat, I have a medium bat, and I have a small bat. I'm gonna cut these out so that we can transfer it onto our black whatever and cut out our 12 bats. Okay, yay. Now we have our 3 bat patterns ready to go. And then we will place our bats onto our foam core, trace the whole bat, and then cut the whole bat out. As I was doing this, using my kid scissors that I purchased at the Dollar Tree, I was thinking, hello, kids could totally get in on this action. You have some kids around, have them cut out bats. Trace out the shapes, give them a pair of kid scissors, tell them, go to town, I need 12. I mean, it doesn't really get much easier. Pottery Barn, again, are you insane? Just asking. They actually have like a hole cut out and it looks like they're using some sort of a black ribbon. I don't want to do that. I want my bats to look like they're kind of floating. So I am going to use the fishing line that I already purchased for the candles and put a little dot of hot glue on the back of the bat. But if you don't have fishing line and you have some black ribbon, black curling ribbon, black string, what have you, you can do what Pottery Barn did and put a little hole for their like bat mouth and then string the ribbon through their mouth hole. The effect is going to be the same. So let's cut out our bats. And voila, all of our bats are cut out. For my 97-cent piece of craft foam, we have all of our bats. All we need to do, take apart our last year wreath, put some fishing line on these puppies, hang it on our wreath, and we are done. Okay, that was easy. Snakes removed. And now we can use these for some other decor. Or, you know, every other year you switch it out. Take the bats off, put the snakes back on. It's like a never-ending Halloween wreath. Now, all we need to do, glue our fishing line, tie our ribbon, whatever, onto the back of our bats. Now, this fishing line is 4-pound fishing line. They have a lot of weights in fishing line. I picked 4-pound just because I know these don't weigh 4 pounds, but I also wanted it to be kind of invisible. So I wanted it on the thinner side, but still thick enough to hold whatever I needed it to hold. Here is our fishing line here, and I'm just going to put a little dollop of glue, probably just a little dot like right by his head, and then rest the fishing line in, and then I'll cut it probably longer than I want it, and then once we decorate the wreath, we can trim it up. And then I'll probably end up putting like another glue dot on top of the fishing line too, just for extra security, wind, whatnot, if you're hanging this on your front door. Oh, it's a bat! Are you guys scared? So I just need to finish the rest and then we'll decorate our wreath. Okay, all of our fishing line is glued on to the back of our bats. And because I am the way that I am, I colored over all of the hot glue dots in black Sharpie so that in case the bats do spin around, the glue on the back will be less noticeable. Like, you can't even tell. Now that we have all of our bats strung up, we just need to take our wreath and then place them where we want them. So they have like 2 hanging in the middle, a big one and a small one. But basically you can put them wherever you want. It's your wreath. So yeah, just place a bat, string it around, and tie it onto a twig. And really, too, I think I might just hot glue this fishing line instead of tying it around a twig. Now, some you may need to tie around a twig, but if you're doing it from the back side and you have a majority coming from the back, then you can just glue dot them on. Doesn't matter. Tie, glue, whatever. Just place your bats where you want, and then your wreath will be done. So I just tied, I didn't use hot glue, I just tied 2 bats into the center so you could see how effing cute it looks. So now we just have to organize the rest of our bats. And if you wanted to do the whole twinkle light thing, which I will try to find, because if we are going to duplicate the $40 to $60 bat wreath from the Pottery Barn, I should probably have some lights in it. But for the most part, check it. The Pottery Barn one, I feel like it had 12, but depending on the size of your wreath, 12 might be a little overkill. Maybe you have a ginormous wreath and you need 15. It's completely up to you, but so far, so cute. For our next high-end Halloween dupe. You guys, this might be one of the hardest, most time-consuming DIYs you will ever see on the channel. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. The Pottery Barn floating candles. So get yourself fake taper candles. Get yourself some fishing line. You guys ready? Take your fishing line, take your candle. At the base of the flame, you're going to tie your fishing line around that. Make a little loop. Probably can't see it because it's fishing line and it's clear. And I'm gonna stick the flame of my candle through the loop. And then I'm gonna tighten it. And then I'm gonna tie a knot or two. Really, really tight. Ooh, okay. All right, now that you have that done, you're gonna wanna trim off the excess so that we don't see it. Now, you're gonna wanna then take your fishing line, cut it to a pretty good size. So now you have probably about like a yard's worth of fishing line tied on to your candle.
Oh, it's floating. What wickedness is happening here? It's a floating candle.
I know. Once you've done that to 1, you're gonna wanna do it to 12. So just repeat that very tedious and very difficult process to your remaining 11 candles. I know, you guys, I know. Boom, 1. And once you do this, you will have recreated something that the Pottery Barn was selling on their website for $129. And voila, floating candles are done. Honestly, the hardest part about that whole thing was just being able to see the fishing line to tie the knot around the wick of the candle. So we spent, I don't know, $1.97 on fishing line. We have tons left. And we have our set of 12 candles ready to go. The Pottery Barn just sells them like this, in a set of 12, but they're individually tied. That means you would then have to tack them to your ceiling, tie them around a tree branch, and a tree would look pretty cool individually. I was thinking, to save time, I would get a thin piece of scrap wood and then tie the fishing line around the scrap wood in varying heights. And then that way I could just, with tiny little nails in my ceiling or wherever, so that they're a unit, and then you can just hang that unit. I was thinking even too, like, wouldn't this be cool? I currently have a chandelier over my dining room table, but if you didn't have something over your dining room table, you could do a strip, and then from your ceiling, you could have floating candles coming over your dining room table. I thought that would be badass. Amazon has a bunch that are actually like remote control operated. I see right off the bat. A 4-pack of ivory 10-inch is $25. You don't need one with remote control. Okay, here's some that are battery operated for $28. Gosh, 60 bucks for 12. I feel like we could get cheaper. Oh, see, here we go. 6.5 inches, set of 12 for $16. So you could use just all the same size, and it would cost you $16 to recreate the Pottery Barn $129 floating candles. 15, 16, 18 bucks. They're definitely available, and they're definitely not $129. Pottery Barn Halloween DIY number 2 done. Literally, we've got 40 that we spent $2 on in a recycled wreath. And then this situation, $129. In reality, we recreated it for $20. Do you see what I mean? I hate to be the one that's doing this, but we're gonna put Pottery Barn out of business. And I honestly, really, I believe they removed this. I literally found these on their website a week ago. They were there. They're not there today. And it doesn't say sold out. It doesn't say no longer available. I searched. They are nowhere to be found. I honestly think they removed them because they were like, dude, Sheri from This Is Real Life is on to us. We got to get these down. No one is going to pay $100. Who put this on the website? Who put 12 fake taper candles with fishing line on our website for $129? Who did that? Any of you guys? Take it down right now because that is ridiculous. I know that's what the Pottery Barn said, and that's why you can't find these a week later. A week later. Just saying. For our third and final Halloween DIY from the Pottery Barn, we are gonna get into their skeleton drinkware collection. They have champagne flutes, some highball glasses, lowball glasses. Then they have the stemless wine, which is what I purchased at the Dollar Tree for $1. The stemless wine is $24.50 a glass. This is not for a set. This is for one. $24.50 for one. I really want to say that their skeleton hands are metal. Ours are not going to be metal. We're going to make them out of air dry clay. And the way they have their skeleton hands, like, I don't know, I think those fingers are too far apart. First of all, no one holds a glass from the bottom, but you don't put your fingers this far apart. You put them like this far apart. I don't know. I'm going to take creative license. We're going to mold or sculpt some skeleton bone fingers out of our air dry clay and make this glass for a fraction of the cost. We're gonna get the same effect out of air dry clay and some nail polish. So this project is gonna take the longest amount of time simply because we have to wait for the clay to dry. Now, I did some sample tests just to see. I made some skeleton fingers. This one is my favorite. I mastered a way to get the look of a skeleton finger pretty easily. You don't even have to worry about I can't sculpt. I'm not, who's a sculptor? Vincent van Gogh was a painter. I'm not the guy who created David. That's fine. We're gonna make skeleton fingers and it's gonna be very, very easy. So what you wanna get, air dry clay. Any brand is fine. I got this Sculpty air dry clay at the Joann's for $7.99 for a 2-pound block, which is gonna be more than enough. Get some parchment paper, get something to put on your surface because we are gonna roll the air dry clay into little tiny snakes. You also wanna get some plastic wrap because the air dry clay does dry in the air. So we want to keep it as not dry as possible until we're done sculpting the base and all of our 5 fingers. You could do this without putting the base, I suppose, because the ones from Pottery Barn have a base. I'm gonna do my base first. I played around with this already. I worked out all the kinks. When I originally was doing it, I did my base last, and my fingers were way too dry to attach to the base. Oh, you're also gonna wanna need a sculpting tool. It's a toothpick. So get some air dry clay, lop off a hunk of it, and always put this back in your airtight baggie. Again, we don't want our whole block going dry. That would suck. It's not messy at all. You're just gonna wanna knead it a little bit, flatten it out into a tiny little pizza. You want it to be a little bit bigger than the base of your glass. Set it on down, then we're gonna take our glass and smush it in there. I don't need a super thick base, I just need something to put my fingers on top of. I'm gonna press down, press, and then lift up. I'm just gonna take my fingernail and kind of trim off the excess. Put it in your airtight bag, repress. We wanna get this kind of thin and we want it to be flat. We don't want our glass tipping in any sort of way. It's a skeleton hand glass. The edge doesn't have to be superb, but just get it, kind of cute. Make sure your glass sets normal. What I wanna do is I'm gonna flip this over and then I'm gonna get some saran wrap and I'm gonna put it over the top just to keep it from drying out. That was easy enough. Now we're gonna make our skeleton bone fingers. And what I was doing is I was mapping out the length of my own fingers. So start hand rolling it into a tube, a bone, if you will. We don't want these fingers so thick that it takes them years and years to dry. So what I do is I start out with a thick-ish tube, and then I'm gonna fine tune it and skinny it up as soon as I have my skeleton bone made. Now you do wanna have a little bit of excess towards the base of your finger because that's what's going to stick to the base that you made for your glass. Even though skeleton bones, I don't think have fingernails, just kind of make a pointy end for your fingernail. Now, you're gonna take your sculpting tool, which is your toothpick. And you're gonna make lines for where your knuckles are. And I just take the side of my toothpick, and wherever I have a knuckle in my own personal finger, I'm gonna press into the clay. So you'll want 3 presses. And this isn't, doesn't have to be exactly like a bone. We're just giving the look of a bone. So now that we've made our 3 divots, this is where the easy part begins. At your first divot, you're gonna pinch right underneath the first divot and right above the first divot. And you're gonna squeeze it closed and push that divot in. And then that kind of makes like a little knuckle. Now where your second one is, pinch on either side, squeeze the indentation that you made closed. Pinching and squeezing, pinching and squeezing, pinch and squeeze. But now our finger is like kind of tall and flat. We're gonna take it and then just like press it down so it gets back around again. Now you're gonna wanna do this like a couple of times until you feel it looks like a skeleton finger. I think that's a pretty damn good finger, but it's tall. So I'm gonna lay it on its side. I'm gonna take my sculpting tool and I'm going to cut off the excess, and I'm gonna make the base of my bone flat. Now this leaves the base of our skeleton bone finger kind of jaggedy, and we want that so that when we glue this to our glass, it has something to glue to. It has some stability. The end part that's going to go to the base, you want to really like press that flat. I'm gonna put this back in my airtight baggie, take my cellophane off of here. This is my first finger, so everything's gonna be based off of this. That flat part that I just made at the base of my finger, I'm gonna press that down into the base that I made for my glass, and I'm gonna lay my skeleton finger down on my glass so it gets that good curve. Now it's not gonna stick to your glass, that'll all come later, but we want it to dry in this curved shape of our glass. Just kind of look at it. It looks cute. Now recover that back up so your base doesn't dry, because we still have 4 more fingers to put on here. Set it aside and work on your next finger. Again, we'll just do it one more time. Pinch off some of your clay, keep it airtight. Roll your clay into a tube. This is extra, extra long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take off some of that excess so I don't have to worry about it. Once we feel like we have the length correct, take the end that's our fingernail, and we're gonna kind of shape it into a point. Take our sculpting tool, toothpick, and we're gonna just press a line pretty hard into where the knuckles are. Now that I have that, it's the pinch and press technique. Pinch on either side of your knuckle indentation, pinch and press, pinch and press. Kind of manipulate it a little bit. Once I have it kind of flattened out and pinched and pressed, turn it upside down and kind of press it down, and then rework my pinches and presses again. I'm gonna cut off my excess with my toothpick, peel that away, take the end and press it flat, because that's what's gonna go to our base. Now to me, this one kind of almost looks like it went to the size of my pinky. That's fine, I'll make it be a pinky. Take your saran wrap off and then just form your finger to your glass so that it takes on the shape of the glass. Perfect, and now we have our pinky. See how easy? So then we're just gonna put 2 more fingers in the middle of there and a thumb right there, and glass number 1 is done and ready to dry. Now that you have all 5 fingers made, I still have my saran wrap on because I want to hold my fingers to my glass pretty securely, because I'm gonna flip it over one more time and I'm gonna flatten out where I connected the fingers to the base. I'm just gonna lightly flatten that because I don't want my glass again to be sitting like cattywampusy. Plus I want my fingers to be really stuck to that base while it dries. Once we have that and we're happy with it, we're gonna take the saran wrap off and we're gonna let it dry with the glass upside down so that our fingers are cascading down and they don't fall off. I'm so pleased with that. I mean, come on. Pretty easy, right? It didn't take us long. And we are going to let this amazing piece dry. Yeah, put it somewhere where no one's gonna fuck with it. $24.50. Now, these are probably gonna need to dry for 24 hours before we begin painting them. Don't get upset. The clay is not going to adhere to your glass once it is dry. You're actually going to be able to remove it. And that's a good thing because we need to paint it. Once it's painted, we're going to glue it back onto our glass so it's completely secure. So go ahead and finish the remainder of your glasses and let them dry. Okay, so it is day 2 and our skeleton fingers are completely dry and ready for us to paint. I know these are dry because I can pick all of them up right off of the glass. Now, they're very fragile. You're gonna wanna be careful while we're painting them. To seal them, I just got this little $1 bottle of Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree, a little paintbrush, and I'm going to Mod Podge the inside as well as the outside. Now, to protect my glasses, I just wrap them in plastic wrap so that I could put my skeleton hands back on them to dry and I wouldn't get Mod Podge all over the glass. Once they're dry, we're ready to paint. Now, I don't know, it could be just me, but I think the white looks pretty badass. However, Pottery Barns are painted to look metal-ish, and then they have black details in like the bones, the knuckles, the what have you. That's what I'm gonna try to replicate here. And to do that, I have Dollar Tree nail polish. Not that this is a Dollar Tree challenge, but I did want to keep it kind of Dollar Tree. I wanted all of our supplies to be very, very minimal in cost. However, if you did have a clear coat spray paint, you could do that. And maybe the final layer is a clear coat spray paint. Also, you don't have to use Dollar Tree nail polish. You could take these out to the garage, really make sure your glasses were wrapped in cellophane inside and out, and then give these a quick coat of silver spray, and then come in with your black nail polish and do all the fine details. That is an option to speed up time. But I'm thinking that the sheerness of the silver nail polish with the white skeleton fingers might be a really cool look. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, for the silver, I'm gonna just use a bigger paintbrush, dump my silver out onto a plate, and then give these all a nice coat. And as I'm looking at this silver, I'm like, you better fucking last me all 4 of these. So we'll see. We might need to buy 2 silver nail polishes from the Dollar Tree. I don't need to paint the interior, so I'm gonna leave it on my glass for more stability. These little fingers are fragile when they're just, out in the air without the glass underneath to support them, covered in cellophane so I don't have to worry about getting nail polish onto the glass. Let's open up, let's shake it well. Ooh, I kind of dig it. Let's hope this works. Gosh, this silver is really pretty, Dollar Tree. Let's check it out. Oh, that looks neat. So I'm just gonna get a base coat onto these fingers, getting in all the cracks and crevices. And I feel like it doesn't have to be precise painting either. That is amazing. Hello, nail polish, you work. And then we will go in with our black nail polish and do some details around the knuckles, just like the Pottery Barn. And then once our nail polish is dry, we're gonna do another clear coat of Mod Podge and they should be good to go. Now, while not dishwasher safe, you will be able to hand wash them. Okay, I am really digging this silver nail polish. Way to go, Sheri. Oh my God, that looks so good, you guys. This is turning out better than I thought, to be quite honest. This looks amazing. So fucking good. I am not even joking, this looks so good. I'm dying right now. And because my glass is covered with the plastic wrap, I don't have to worry about it. And that's looking amazing. Our coat of silver is completely done. I ran out of nail polish bottle from the Dollar Tree just as I was getting like 2 fingers painted on the 4th cup. To save yourself from busting into your own OPI silver nail polish, just buy 2 bottles of silver nail polish from the Dollar Tree. I thought the fingers in white were pretty awesome, but the fingers in silver look amazing. So now we're gonna take the black nail polish that we got at the Dollar Tree, and we're actually gonna use the nail polish brush that it came with. P.S. Nail polish isn't like water soluble paint. It's gonna jack up your brush. I'm just gonna throw it in the garbage. So just know that. If I wanted to, I could soak this in nail polish remover and try to save it, but it's like, why? I'm hoping that doing this black doesn't jack up our beautiful silver paint job that we just did. I'm gonna use it sparingly and just in and around the knuckles, maybe along the edges. I don't know, we're gonna play around with it. We're faux painting knuckles. Kind of dabba on here. Maybe we get some on and then we like tappa with our finger so it's not so harsh. Oh yeah, that looks good. It gives us like a sheer coverage, but we still have some details in the black. I think that looks good. So I'm gonna make a line like in my knuckle divot of the black, and then I'm gonna feather it out with my dry brush. Oh yeah, that's a good look. Oh, I am digging that. Second knuckle better than the first knuckle. I kind of want to do like some of the edges too. So I'm gonna tuck the black under the finger kind of, and tampa the edges. So basically, now you're just faux painting. That looks really good. With my little black shading, looks pretty nice. So now you just keep going. Faux paint your fingers. I know it seems really silly, but this nail polish cost us $1. Why wouldn't we use it? Now you can get carried away, so you might need to go back and dry brush some more silver over the top, but it's your own skeleton finger. You do it however you like. And then once that's done, we just Mod Podge it again, seal it up. Even though I think the nail polish has pretty much sealed it up good from any water damage. But yeah, that's it. We're faux painting with nail polish. Now that we have our skeleton fingers faux painted and final coated, I have carefully peeled them away from my glass. So, here it is. I painted the inside black because when it is glued onto our glass, I didn't want you to see the white clay from inside the glass. The interesting thing, all of the layers of paint and the clear coat and the Mod Podge kind of made our clay a little pliable, so it's almost less fragile, which is kind of cool. And I'm hoping that when we do glue it to our glass, it makes it a little bit bendier around our glass. Even though our hands are formed to the glass, maybe it'll make it easier, less fragile. I have no idea. Now that I feel secure in that they're super protected from water, I think it's time we glue them onto our glass. So for the glue, I have quite a bit. Clear Gorilla Glue. It says bonds virtually everything. Then to keep it Dollar Tree, Fix-All Adhesive solves your gluing, sealing, and repairing problems. Water resistant, which is nice. Works great on rubber, wood, and metal. It really doesn't say anything about glass, as well as I found a different glue at the Dollar Tree. This is multi-purpose cement, bonds wood, metal, ceramic, china, most plastics, fabric, leather, and porcelain. I was like, ooh, maybe this might be the better alternative. And I also have my hot glue gun heating up over here because I'm gonna do the trick of put the Gorilla Glue on and then we'll do some dots of hot glue just for a quick adhesion. Then we can let it dry like in peace and we don't have to be worried about it. So my area is a mess and I was thinking I was cleaning as I was going, but it doesn't appear to be so. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a paintbrush, coat the inside base very heavily with glue, glue up all of the fingers. Once I have my glue on there in a nice, good, thick coat, I'm gonna take my hot glue gun and I'm gonna dot some hot glues around, maybe on the fingertips, what have you, and then I'm gonna, boom, put it to my glass. I mean, seriously, that's pretty awesome. So let's try this one. We'll do a combo. Glass number one, I'm just gonna squirt some glue and then I'm gonna take my paintbrush, smooth it around into a nice thick layer. Ooh, that's nice. Get it on the edges. Oh, I do have to say, when you're painting with all the nail polishes, my house smelled like a nail salon, which is totally fine by me. However, you may wanna open a window. Let me get some up the fingers. I don't wanna like have it squirting out the sides, so I do want to be very careful. I can't believe we recreated this, to be quite honest. We're amazing. I feel good about that. Now I'm going to get my hot glue gun and I'm gonna do just a few dots, fingertips, but we gotta be fast about it. Glue, glue, a fingertip dot. Just keep those fingers down. All right, get our glass. Press it, press it, press it. Now, if you do see any glue seepage, clean that up. I see some for me. Press that down really, really good. I can see the bond underneath. It looks good. Oh my gosh, you guys, this looks amazing. I may put something on top just to keep it weighted, but I am going to leave it like this to dry. Yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna glue on the rest of them and we'll be done. Okay, we have so many things to reveal. Are you ready? Hold on to your hats because I'm gonna say dun 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 a bunch. Reveal number 1 is the bat wreath, as seen at Pottery Barn, made here on This Is Real Life for $4.98. Dun 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 dun. Oh, look it. I did find the battery operated lights. You can see them glowing. And I have all of my foam bats cut out, hanging on our recycled twig wreath. Oh, Pottery Barn, seriously? For our second reveal, you may have seen them reflecting in the background of the mirror, our floating candles. No longer on the Pottery Barn website, but when I saw them, they were $129 for a set of 12. Let's say we had to purchase the candles. We made ours for 25 bucks and some fishing line. Are you ready? Dun 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 dun.
Oh, what witchcraft is this?
Oh my goodness. Well, with all my bright lights, you can totally see the fishing line. Oh, maybe not from this angle. Ooh, totally witchy. Now, I did just tie my fishing line around a piece of board here, and then I nailed that board up underneath. This opening here is still not done, so it didn't bother me one iota. I'm almost thinking that I want one set for this side and then one set for that side. But seriously, Pottery Barn literally was charging $129 for floating candles. You can make your own for about 25 bucks. And our third and final reveal. It's the one that took the longest, but I'm telling you, they look amazing. Our skull hand glasses. Pottery Barn wanted $24.50 for one glass, and we made a set of 4 for $16. That's what? $4 a glass. We saved quite a bit on this one. And are you ready? Because they're amazing. Dun 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 dun. Can you even believe how amazing these turned out? I know I did fill them up with some, vampire blood on ice. But that's just for the reveal. I will be dumping that and then letting these dry just so I'm sure the glue sets. Can't nobody tell me these don't look like the ones that are on sale at the Pottery Barn for $24.50 each. You're looking at 16 bucks for a set of 4. So there you have it, and there it is. We quite possibly just put the Pottery Barn out of business. We saved approximately $100 on the set of 12 floating candles. We saved about $80 on our amazing glasses. And we saved a good 30 bucks on our wreath, if not more. Yeah, that's 80, that's 180 plus 30 is like, we saved $200 making these 3 projects ourselves. And it wasn't that hard. I mean, fucking floating candles, dude. Pottery Barn, we're coming for you. We're on to you, number 1. And I think that you know that we are on to you because you removed the floating candles from your website. But I have a screenshot. You can't pull one over on me. We duped it because we're amazing. And we can do anything we set our minds to. Honestly, the big surprise, the skull hand stemware. In my mind, as you know, everything works out. But it just goes to show you that if you think outside the box, take the parts and pieces and think, what can I make this out of? How can I make this work? You can do it. The sculpting of the fingers, totally easy. The painting, totally totally easy. It's just dry time, really. That's all it is. That's what's time consuming about it. Now, not dishwasher safe. I mean, seriously, it's air dry clay, nail polish, and Mod Podge. However, I feel completely confident that they will withstand a gentle hand washing. And if you're only gonna use them once a year for Halloween, for a party, or get together, what have you, I think they'll be totally fine. Just remember, you made this out of clay, so don't put them in the dishwasher. Just a gentle hand wash and air dry, and you'll be fine. And then our wreath, I mean, seriously, that was almost as easy as the candles. We just had to cut out some bats and recycle a wreath. So yeah, that's it. We're amazing, as always. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on a single DIY Wednesday video that I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends, and as always, thanks for hanging out.